Alright everyone, I've just realised it's later than what I thought because of clocks going forward. I thought, it's only about 1 o'clock and it's like 2 o'clock. But I'm literally still wide awake. I think the massive sleep I had overnight and the nap I had before probably did me the world of good, to be fair. But yeah, enough about that. Next video I want to do, and I'm going to schedule this for the start of next week just in case there's a lack of content available, or time to record content I should say. It's about Darwin Núñez, and it's not a news piece, don't worry. It's more of an opinion, and something for you to have your say in the comments. So that's why I can probably schedule it. We know he's had a tough season. We saw the issues with Villa, and apparently he had the similar issues with Wolves as well, with his work rate, but we saw... yes, he saved us against Brentford, but that Villa game and apparently the Wolves game were quite damning for him, and Slot's had his say. We're in year 3 now, and he's not setting the club alight. I wanted him to succeed, I really did. He comes across a nice person. I've seen him do stuff for YouTube channels on, I think he was like taking shots to break, see how much force it would take to break certain different materials, and he comes across a nice person. But as a footballer on the pitch, as a striker, I just don't think how's a way of describing this so it's easy to understand. As a striker, there's a bit more to it than running into space and putting the ball in the back of the net. There's a bit more than that. You've got to understand your defenders, the opposing defenders. You've got to understand the offside rule. You've got to understand where defenders will run. You've got to understand how your teammates are going to play. You've got to understand where the ball's going to come from, and you've also got to be able to read the game and analyse where the ball's going, make a judgment of where the ball's going to land, and you've got to work out how to get there first, so to speak. But sometimes you've got that amount of time to make that decision. You've got to be on. You might have fractions of seconds. You might have next to no time to make that decision. You look at the decision making, and I'm going to go through even players through history here. Yes, the game has changed. Yes, it's a different game than it was when I grew up. But the art of getting into the right place to score the goal is still, the basics are still the same. Defenders, they still have to get back and they still have to challenge. Goalkeepers have to dive and save the ball. Games change, but this goalkeeper's job has. Basics are still the same. Defender's job, the basics are still the same. You wide men, your wingers, their basics are still the same. It's the same with strikers. Watch Ian Rush. Watch John Aldridge. Watch them off the ball. Watch the runs they make. Watch how quickly they react to where a ball's being played and to where the ball's likely to go and getting there. Gary Lineker was very good at it as well. Mark Allen, Jurgen Klinsmann, Rudi Völler, Emilio Butragueño, we're going to put Andrei Shevchenko, I'm just thinking names of strikers that have shown they can score at the highest level. Robbie Fowler, one of the best natural finishers I've seen. Fernando Torres, Thierry Henry, but he could also create the goals himself. Ian Wright could open. He knew how to score goals. That's another thing a striker needs to do. They need to instinctively know where the back of the net is, where the goal is. That's another thing I think Darwin struggles with. Sometimes he has to think too much, and sometimes he thinks too much. If you're having to think too much with a chance, like you see with even likes of Alan Shearer, he wasn't fit. He was either hitting from instinct, or he would take a look, think about his shot for a moment. He never was overthinking his shots. And we look at now, Erling Haaland, a certain Swedish striker at Newcastle, Victor Gyökeres in Sporting, Harry Kane. What do they all have that Darwin Núñez doesn't? I don't think Darwin is quick from watching the ball come over to getting to where he needs to be. I think he struggles with that thought process at times, and I think that's why he's struggling. It's not as though he's not an intelligent player, because he can make some decent runs at times, but the consistency isn't there. So why has he struggled? And both Jurgen Klopp and Arne Slot haven't been able to nail it. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. And that means he needs to move on. And this is where I'm letting you get your say into the video. I know it's probably a bit of a longer video, but I just wanted to give a bit of an introduction to strikers and why Darwin isn't really a striker as such for us. We've seen the Saudi links, okay? We've just seen Fenerbahce and Nottingham Forest links. There is some links about Atletico Madrid. We heard some very brief Milan links. I think that was when Fonseca was in charge, was it? And apparently Sergio Conceição is a fan of him as well. I don't know how true that is. We've also heard the Newcastle link again. I don't know if you remember, you may not, but before we signed him, Newcastle were also apparently looking at him, supposedly. But I think we went for Núñez, and soon after, as that window closed, they went for Isak. My God, I wish the tables been reversed and we went for Isak and they went for Núñez. So my question is, where do you think Darwin will go next season? Do you think the Fenerbahce link's accurate? Do you think he could go there? Do you think he'll end up in Saudi? Do you think Newcastle will end up with him? Arsenal even? Do you think Nottingham Forest would be a good fit? What about Milan? Or Atletico Madrid? Or by some bizarre chance, do you think he's going to be at Anfield next season still? Or could you think of another club that you might have heard that are interested or linked, and he could go there? As always, thank you very much. Let me know your thoughts on this anyway. Take care, guys.